Can robot maybe take place of a caregiver in the future? And is it a good solution?
Welcome to CHATROG, the podcast on ethics in artificial intelligence. I'm Roger Steer, the corporate philosopher. Today we're joined by Dr. Roeslan Leontjevas, a leading researcher exploring how AI and robotics can care for people living with dementia. From social robots like Sarah to empathic AI assistants like Noah, his work raises profound questions about dignity, autonomy, and what it really means to care. Roeslan, welcome to CHATROG.
Thank you very much, Roger. I'm glad to be here. It's a very important topic you discuss here. So great.
Can I ask you to tell us a bit more about the project you're calling Sarah Plus or Sarah? What does
Yeah,
Sarah do? What does it look like, and so on?
we started like a half year ago with our new project on Sarah. Sarah is an existing social robot in nursing homes, which is already used like for about a couple of years in several nursing homes. And first it was looking more like a humanoid robot. It was looking a bit like a human. But afterwards, the developers understood that it's not really important how Sarah looks like, but it's important what does Sarah do. It's used for personalized activities like introducing music, maybe some relaxation moments, even trying to mobilize the patients to exercise, to do some additional movements. It's used on the wards with people with dementia, but also with people without dementia, but with some cognitive impairments. Unfortunately, especially in nursing homes, in residents with dementia, you see a lot of challenged behavior. Sometimes people can be too, how do you say that, too very emotion driven.
Violent sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, of course, when they don't really understand what is happening around them, they can react. We think it's aggressive behavior, but for them, it's just trying to
Frustration.
survive at that moment. But it can be also depression or apathy when somebody is sitting in a room and doing nothing, and then you want mobilize the patient, or you want to calm him down, especially at this moment when we don't have a lot of caregivers. There is really a shortage of carers in nursing homes. Caregiver who is working at that moment with 10 patients and trying to care for them, he can be engaged with the conversation or with some activities with another person, and there are 9 additional clients or residents who are also needing care, and then Sarah is a good solution to play music or to provide some relaxation films, movies, or to show some exercise-alike activities to mobilize the client. So the caregiver has some more time to spend with other residents.
So Sarah can help with exercise, it can help with music, it can help calm people down. Tell
Yes.
us, the other element here is Noah, Noa. Tell us
Yes.
a bit more about Noah. How is it different from typical assistive devices?
Noah is another project. It's in Dutch. It will be abbreviated from nabijheid, ondersteuning, aandacht. Dus closeness, support, and attention. It's more AI driven. What, of course, you will see with residents, with people who have a certain disease or condition. They're all different, and everybody needs some different approach. So how do you realize that with all those developments with AI, we want to use that to make a more flexible tool which can be used for residents according to their specific needs. It's more digital assistant, so it's not a robots. You don't really see a robot-like figure in front of you. It's on a screen, but it can be on a laptop or on iPad or maybe phone. It's something we probably everybody will have in a couple of years. Digital assistants which helps you to answer some questions, who can guide you regarding your agenda, who can assist you with phone calls to your relatives or to your contacts. And what we want to understand, how does this research assistant also should look like? Should it be an avatar which has more characteristics of female characteristics or male characteristics? Should it be a person with an animal?
One of the challenges in care for the elderly, especially those who are displaying signs of dementia, is the fact that humans have to have a huge amount of patience and compassion. How do you see the systems that you're developing, both in terms of robotics and in terms of virtual assistants? How are they demonstrating that almost infinite patience? Because, of course, they don't get tired. As long as they're plugged in, they don't get tired and so on. Tell us a bit about that. What have you seen in terms of the way that impacts the care of the elderly?
Yeah, I think it's considering the shortage of care staff and the growing number of people with dementia worldwide, not only in the Netherlands or in the UK, but everywhere. And then we will have more people with dementia to care for, but we don't have more people who can care for them. So we need to look into innovative products to help caregivers to provide human and personalized care. So we will have more digital assistants and more robots in the future. And I believe that because we already know there will be more and more these kind of solutions, we need also not only to embrace them and to think about like, oh yeah, this is great. We can make it more easier for caregivers, but we need also to look at ethical aspects. Is it ethically good solution to introduce a robot when there's not so many people around? Can robot maybe take place of a caregiver in the future? And is it a good solution?
Could you see an ethical solution that we design with our families and with caregivers? What sort of robotic assistants we might have?
Yeah, that's a great question because depends really on the person who are you caring for. So it should be very flexible and it should take into account all those ethical issues as dependency, what I was talking about, also dignity in it. But it will be different for each person. That's why we probably need AI, which can learn from the personal data and which should be more suitable, for example, for you, Roger, for me, Ruslan, or for another person. And maybe for me, it should look like a pet, and for you, more like a human avatar or a robot, if it's more physical.
Do you think that given the strain on our caregiving services across the world, that, how should we balance, the fact that people need some care and perhaps really focus on how AI and robotics can support and supplement the care given by professionals and by families?
Yeah. It's a good question in the way that it's true that given the shortage of the staff in mental health, but also in nursing home facilities, we need to look for solutions. It's very nice that we have all these kind of innovations. My hope is that introducing these innovations will provide more time for other therapists as well, and they can be also involved into the therapeutic trajectories of specific clients. If you are a caregiver in a nursing home and you have 10 clients to care for, and you have this digital assistant or a robot, then maybe you have a little bit more time to provide care to other people as well. So it's not like uh, we totally canceling human care and introducing digital care or robotic care. It should amplify each other. It should help the professionals in their work.
In terms of ethical risks, what are the ones that most concern you most in terms of these new developments?
Deception, and we need to understand that robots is not human, and it doesn't have feelings, and it doesn't really care about the person who gets the care. Even for people who don't really understand what they're talking with, if we are talking with a person who is with a severe dementia diagnosis, uh, and maybe he or she doesn't understand what he is talking to, but the device of the robots or the digital assistants should maybe mention it often that it's not a human, it's a robot. I want to assist you, and we need to find ways, and this is what we are as researchers trying to do. How can we be more transparent, not only with people who understand what they're talking with, but also with people with dementia or maybe with small children? We know that people see something human in almost anything. We call it anthropomorphism.
Mm.
Like even in a small subject with two dots, we can see a face, and we can attribute some human characteristics to the object. So we need to be very careful and transparent to the users of these devices that it's not something human.
Sure.
And maybe that it's not really doesn't really care for you. It's an instrument. It's a tool.
Yeah.
It's a device. Um,
So, given the fact that people with dementia are not thinking the same way we do,
yes.
would it actually really matter if the patient didn't realize the robot did or didn't realize the robot was human? Does it really matter if they're getting a level of care which they wouldn't otherwise be able to be given?
Yeah, it's a really great question because I think nobody has an answer to this question. First of all, of course, it's important that people get care what they need, and sometimes you have maybe a device which provides care, and the person thinks, "Oh yeah, it's a human entity, or it's a real dog what I'm playing with." It's more maybe our own thoughts about dignity, what is right and what is wrong. Then, of course, we don't know what the person with dementia thinks at this moment. Then, in my opinion, this is maybe the strength of AI that we do all this research with animals and we try to understand their language. And I was reading about research with whales that an AI model was used to understand what whales we were talking about. And I hope that AI can help us to understand what a person with dementia thinking and feeling. Um, so this is the future I would love to have, that AI helps us to provide care, what people need.
So, Roeslan, I'm going to ask you to imagine that the European community, the EU regulators are asking you for advice. What are the top three things you would advise them in terms of safety regulation and responsibility in terms of AI-driven robotic dementia care?
I would focus on transparency, emotional safety. Those are two things. And yeah, the third thing is more funds for research and for this kind of innovations and new ideas, because we can just talk and talk about what is right and wrong, but if you don't provide more possibilities for researchers to to work on it, the question would still be the same.
One of the things that your research has shown, Roeslan, is that dementia patients tell the same story time after time
Yes,
because
people
they
with
forget.
dementia, I would say, yeah,
Yeah,
people with
exactly.
dementia.
Humans can find this very infuriating and
Yes.
lose patience. But you've suggested in your research that AI can spot slight differences between the retellings and actually work out things that dementia patients are trying to say that humans would probably never spot. That sounds like something worth, working on and developing.
Yes, and I hope that more money will be invested in this kind of innovative research. How can we understand the needs of people with dementia? We can hypothesize about what is important, and we can speak with people who have dementia in an early stage, and then we just think, okay, if a person says it now, it can be the same when he's in a later stage of his trajectory. But we don't really know, because we don't really have instruments to ask and to understand people with severe dementia. We can only observe them, and we can ask the people in their social environment how do they think the person thinks. We name it by proxy instruments. How and what should we need? What kind of instruments can we use in people with severe dementia? We don't know yet, and I hope AI can help us in the future.
What are the future developments that excite you most in this field?
It's a great question, because of course, I cannot see the future, but my hope is that AI will be used, as I said, to translate different signs of the specific needs of person with dementia into understandable language for the caregivers. So it will, in my opinion, it will help us uh, to s- to signal different symptoms, which we will afterwards use to intervene on. Like, for example, I was telling you about my own research that when we were uh, studying depression care, so that even recognizing depressive symptoms helps. Even if you don't provide care afterwards, I mean, formal care, because informal care is always provided. So this is probably the first function of AI and robotics, trying to understand the specific needs of people with dementia. And of course, the second aspect of using AI and robotics in dementia care will be caring for those people and helping the caregivers to provide more human care. Because if you have more time and you need less people to care for your residents or for people living at home as well, you can maybe have more time to provide human care as well. So this is what I hope for, that robotics and AI will help us not only to sense, to understand what is going on within a person with dementia, what kind of specific needs do he or she has, but also that it can help to provide specific care and assistance, meaning that a caregiver has more time for human touch and human interaction with this person.
That's very positive. And I think given the demographics, the fact that we're all moving from a pyramid to a pencil-shaped population with fewer young people being born, and yet we're living much longer, I can see a huge for me, actually, having spoken to you, I actually think this could be one of the best applications for AI that we have at the moment, given that demographic time bomb that we've got.
Yes, yes, you are right. And also, what, of course, I hope is that a cure for dementia will be available in the near future. Then we don't have to even to think about these kind of problems. Imagine that dementia is gone and we don't have this problem anymore. Then we don't need to think about this kind of interventions.
Roeslan, thank you for joining us for this episode of ChatRog and for sharing your fascinating perspectives on this crucial area, which is going to shape the lives of so many of us I mean, I say that as someone who's 67. I'm hoping I've got another 20 or 30 years before I'll need dementia care. But key takeaways for me in what you've said are, firstly, AI in care homes may be able to infer meaning that humans would never spot when elder parents repeat stories time after time.
Yes.
If you are heading for dementia, we'll be able to plan the AI-driven care that we're going to need. And there are real questions over what robot carers should, whether they should look like humans or dogs or even talking plants.
Yes. Yeah. We have a talking plant in the Netherlands named Tessa, and it's really introduced in dementia care. And it looks like it helps for people to to remember them about their agenda and about taking medication on time.
Very good. As long as we don't have Day of the Triffids, we'll be fine.
Yes.
Roeslan, again, thank you. That was Roeslan Leontjevas giving us a thoughtful glimpse into how empathy and ethics can shape the future of AI-driven care for the elderly. If you enjoyed this conversation, please like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. It really helps others discover the show. I'm Roger Steer. Join us next time on CHATROG, where we look not just at what artificial intelligence is doing, but what it should be doing and how.